I feel very welcomed. It's you guys have a wonderful spirit here. I'm just going to take a moment and acknowledge this, otherwise I'll just be a little weepy. So, I'm just going to. Oh. I had an important person, someone who was my surrogate mother, because my own mother ditched me, passed away about a month ago, and that was their song at her funeral. So, pardon me. Don't pardon me, actually. This is part of love. And I know it's okay to have feelings, and I saw that was on here. I thought I'd be fine until you opened your mouth. Why'd you do that for me? Till you sang it so beautifully. Stop it. You were supposed to butcher it and make it terrible, and then I could get through it and I'd be just fine. Because I'm not a fan of feelings. I'm not big on it, but dang it, you made me have some big ones. But it was, seriously, all kidding aside. That was beautiful, and thank you, and a real gift and a reminder that she is still with me. So, oh my God. So thank you very much. Does anybody else struggle with feelings the way I do? Thank you. Hallelujah. Let's see it preach it to the... Only 3 of us. Well, the 3 of us will get together and not have any feelings for a very long time and feel much better about our world. No, I'm trying to, connect to that. So, but thank you. That was absolutely stunningly fabulous. And you guys are so blessed. I know I've said this before, but to have live music and things like, it's just wonderful blessings. So, and it's great for me to come and to be a part of that as well. It makes me feel loved. There, I brought it back. Woo! You never know if Mills is going to find the transition, but she found it. If you ever feel like I'm just wandering in my message, it's because I'm just we're looking for a transition. So thank you for that. We'll go ahead and we're going to put I have some slides. We'll put those up there first once we can get going. But I just wanted to talk to you about love for a bit because I have done a series at my church that goes along with Siding with Love. So I wanted to kind of bring that to you, and I understood that you didn't do a lot with the 30 Days of Love Challenge and Siding with Love, which is okay. That was not meant to be a guilt comment. This was meant to be more of a get excited about it, and it's a cool thing, and I will share that with you. But as we all know, very recently, it was, the Day of Love, right? And we can go ahead and bring that up. We need a monitor out there, don't we? Just for reference, when I come next time, if we could have a monitor out there, that would be great. Thank you. That will help me a ton, and I know that you live for that. But thinking about, February is that Valentine's, and I teach my other job. While I love being a pastor, my church is tiny, and it's very part-time, so I have another job as well, and I teach 4th graders. And the Day of Love is big for us, okay? Let's face it. I mean, it's the state of Indiana says we can't have a party, but we celebrate our friends. And maybe I'm not going to, maybe we did do some fun stuff in the afternoon, okay? Just try to get me state of Indiana. It's about loving our friends. But anyway, we make a big deal in our culture about this. There's Valentines of everything. Go ahead, hit the next one there. There's all kinds of Valentines there. And this is just a picture of me with my lute. As a teacher, I got to say, you maybe don't get a lot of cash bonuses, but there are other bonuses, okay? I got licorice, I got a bouncy ball, I got socks, I got all kinds of cool stuff. They know I love dogs. I got a heart with dog, a candy thing. I love Hershey's. I mean, okay, that's just a look at my loot. So this day is important to us. And we know culturally, the month of February, we turn to love, don't we? And thinking about love and that. But I want us to think even deeper about that. Yes, we're connected to it culturally, and it's that time of year. But our UU tradition says, yes, that's what culture does, but we're going to call you to a deeper understanding of love because that is who we are. Everybody say UUA. UUA. Sorry. Great. They call us to that. They say love is important, and there is this cultural February thing, but there is a deeper understanding of love that our movement is called to. And in fact, I am going to hope that by the end of this message, you're like, yes, I now know what Unitarians are about and how I can define us. And it is about love. And it's not necessarily the SpongeBob or the heart socks, but it's deeper and it's more powerful than that. And so our next slide, I would encourage you to get on the UU website, go to the Side with Love website, and it's a beautiful resource of our movement. Side with Love, you hear a lot about siding with love. They are always on the side of peace. They're always on the side of justice for all, and they do a lot of work around that. But from Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday until Valentine's Day, they challenge us to live 30 days of love, and we can put that next one up there. It's a challenge that goes out to all Unitarian churches that for 30 days, you're going to be intentional about how we live and love and be in love in community. And it's 30 days of very intentional look at that. There's different themes each week. There's resources, and it's a wonderful thing. Now, at my congregation, we joke, let's get our 30 days of love in so we can be done with this love thing. I'm just going to be honest. Some Oakland folks are like that. Oh, good, Mills, our 30 days are up. Hallelujah. I'm tired of loving the world. But that is not what this is. This is what I would call an intentional inventory of how we are loving ourselves, others, and the world. If we don't stop from time to time and ask questions of ourselves about how we're doing in this loving department, then we may find that we're just not loving, actually. Things that we thought were loving maybe aren't so loving. So maybe I'll just speak for me. From time to time, I must stop and say, okay, Mills, how is my love of self? How is my love of world? How is my love of beloved community? How am I doing? How's it going? Am I making loving choices? Or am I just acting out of some obligation or because somebody told me to or this or that? These 30 days allow me to ask the big questions about intentionality. Now, I've got good news for you. Everybody say yay. Yay. See, I teach fourth grade. They never sit this still, so I get really uncomfortable when people sit this still this long. It's like, oh my gosh, I think we should do something. But the good news is there's only like 6 square inches here, and I'm a mover around her, so I'm always afraid. That's why I hold on like this, like, oh no. But I really want us to be intentional about those questions. And the good news for you is I'm pretty sure because we're Unitarians and we don't have dogma or creed, everybody say woo, that we could do 30 days is not dogma or creed or anything. You could pick any 30 days you want. Really? Yes. You could pick any 30 days. Maybe you missed Martin Luther King's birthday, so to speak, and the 30 days that followed. But I think any time is appropriate to do your 30 days or to really intentionally begin to examine yourself as to how you love and move in the world. And this is a wonderful resource that can help guide us that way. And I really wanted to bring that to your attention because I know I've enjoyed making the people of Oakland and be loving for 30 days. I'm just kidding. They're very loving and very accepting of me and all that kind of stuff. But it's a great opportunity. And I'm going to challenge us. I'm just going to pull a few things that I found as we went through the 30 days now. But I really want you to take a look at that website and see what's there. And you don't have to follow the exact website. Make it yours. That's the other thing. Everybody say yay again. We're Unitarians. Nobody on high says, though, this is how you got to do it. All right? But they are going to say, be intentional about loving. Be intentional. And ask yourself. Just because they don't give you dogma or creed doesn't mean we're not calling each other into account. We do it without that, which is beautiful. And to me, more respectful and more kind. But we will be intentional about love in those 30 days. So with that, I simply ask you, for our purposes today, we'll start, I'm going to start us off with 3 inventory questions, okay? And the first question is this. It's all in. So let's see it up there. Let's see my big question up there. There we go. All in, all right? Are you coming in the pool or not? Before you can inventory how you're doing with love, you really got to ask yourself, can I be a little bit vulnerable, even with yourself? I'm not necessarily saying be vulnerable with the world and have all big feelings. You know I'm not saying that because I'm not fond of that. But what I am saying is, can you be all in with asking at least yourself the questions? Now, I do have a big fear of bears. That slide has a picture of that bear meme. I was chased by a bear once when I was running in Canada. My family never believed me, but I did get a picture of it. I swear it was true. But anyway, all that aside. Are you coming in? It can be a little scary. That's why I put the bear meme up there. It can be a little scary, but I invite you to come all in about being vulnerable, at least in your own heart, about where you are with love and loving and what's going on there. So that I would encourage that kind of vulnerability as we think about that. Somebody needs a little love. There we go. And I appreciate that. There are ways, and you guys know this is true when it comes to getting in the pool. How many of you are a big toe person? You tip your big toe in it, and then maybe that's enough for you. If you're getting in the pool, there are different ways to get in the pool. Some of us, if you think about the times you've been to the swimming pool, there are people that put the big toe in and go, ooh, that's good. I'm good with that. All right, there are people that get in like halfway. Like, have you seen, I don't understand these people. They walk in and get about halfway, and then they stop. They spend the next 20 minutes in the pool like this. Oh, okay, maybe after church you can explain it to me, but okay. like half in and half out. What's that about? And then there are these incredible people, and I'm a toe person. These incredible people that just see a pool and start running. What is wrong with them? And then they just jump. A lot of times they're younger people. But my dad was like that too. Any diving board, he would just jump in. Like, what, are you crazy, Dad? It's cold. Why would you do that? But I invite you to really image that and think about that as you're asking yourself the questions of love. Are you just going to dip your toe in these 30 days? Are you going to get about halfway in? Or are you going to jump in? Are you going to be all in? For 30 days, could you be all in when it comes to love? Not in doing, but in asking yourselves the inventory questions and really acknowledging how you're doing with loving self, others, and beloved community. So my first inventory question is, can you attempt to jump in the pool? It's warm. Well, maybe. I don't know. Some of it can be cold, some of it can be warm, but I invite you to put yourself in that for 30 days and really ask yourself those questions, because that is what it is all about. I think I have another picture there. There we go. I have been witness to this. That's my son, the cello player. Yeah, gold medal cello player. And show choir man and all kinds of musical things. He's built like a linebacker, but he only does show choir and music, which I love. It's just kind of funny. It's so cute in so many ways. He is cute, what can I say? Hope he doesn't listen to that. Now, my 16-year-old's going to be really embarrassed. But anyway, he's super cute and super cool. But recently, it was in December, my mother-in-law passed away. And one of the things that my mother-in-law had requested was that my 16-year-old son become the dad to her most beloved thing in the world, Lady, the 22-pound miniature Dachshund. She didn't eat a lot of dog food. She ate a lot of my mother-in-law's food. Lady had been raised, she's 3 years old. She was my mother-in-law's everything. But my mother-in-law, when she passed, she was 93. So for 3 years, she'd been raised by a 90-year-old lady, had been. And it was my mother-in-law's wish that my son become dad. So get the lady's okay, Lady has been raised by a 90-year-old, all right? Now she's going to come, if my son is open to it, and live with a 16-year-old. Oh, my goodness. But it turns out they're very similar. They spend a lot of time sitting on the couch, all right? While Grandma didn't play video games, she watched her stories, and Wes plays a lot of video games. You know what I mean? So I'm finding there's a lot more similarities to this than a lot of sleeping in. I thought it would be a struggle for her to live with a teenager. Turns out it's not such the struggle, I guess. But what I've been privy to, I have watched my son, who's 16, and by all accounts shouldn't be that into this, fall in love with this dog and put himself all in. Because I was clear with him. I know that's what your grandma wants, but grandma would also want the dog loved and cared for. And if this is too much for you to honor grandma, we will help find a place for that to happen. Because we have other pets. I've told you, we got pets. We're lesbians. We got pets, okay? I don't want to stereotype, but we're old ones. And so we got lots of pets. Again, I know it was a stereotype and I digress, but we got a lot of pets. And I can't possibly, I'd like to retire sometime. I would like to not have to worry about pet care when I go somewhere. So I don't want another pet. That's kind of the rule in my house right now, but it has not been followed by anybody in my house. Now that I think about it, my wife got another dog. Anyway, okay. That's just never going to happen. But I was clear with my son. Buddy, I love you. Grandma loves you. She knows that you love Lady too. But whatever we need to do to help facilitate this, because I can't take care of another dog. I can't. I'll lose my mind. And what I've watched is, this shouldn't be happening. But my 16-year-old will get up early and take her out just so she can get her pottying in. What? He never gets up early. That's like impossible. His friends on the video games make fun of him because she sits on the couch while they play video games and they're doing all their Fortnite or whatever they're doing. I should probably be a better mother and know exactly what they're doing. But they're up there playing their games, and in the midst of this, I got you and give me more ammo and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I probably should be a little closely monitoring this. But then in the midst of that, you hear this voice, "Oh, Lady, get up here on the couch, my little precious girl." And he pulls her up on the couch and he's loving all over. And his friends make fun of him all the time because his voice completely changes, his everything changes for this dog. Now, it's been a couple months now. If it was just a new thing, it would have been wearing off, okay? But he is still caring for her. He took her to the vet. The vet said a different kind of dog food. He's mixing it up like the vet said. I would have just probably tossed it, whatever. My point is, he's all in for love. All in. He's decided just to jump in. And he's all in for love. What would, and I am blessed to live in a house where I get to witness daily an all in for love and what it looks like. I'm not saying he doesn't get frustrated with her and they don't drive each other crazy a little bit, because I think that's part of love too. But he's all in. My friends, we are called to be all in for love. And that's part of the inventory. Can you be all in for love? And then there are two other questions I want us to ask today. The other one comes from the work. I don't know, you guys are probably way ahead of me. I'm slow to learn stuff sometimes because I'm fourth grade teacher, so I stick in that world. But David Brooks, New York Times columnist, I think, and stuff. A little bit more on the conservative side, but not the, I was going to say wacky side, but is that okay to say? Probably. Okay. Just conservative and maybe more than I am in that sense, but writes some beautiful stuff about what I think can be a part of our love inventory. And his stuff is all about how we see others. And that would be my question I would put out there. How do we see others? And I think I've got some slides up here to kind of help us. I'm a visual learner too. I have to have pictures. Maybe that's why I teach elementary school. I have to have pictures. But David Brooks, I invite you to read this book. And I'm not the best reader in the world, but I'm an audiobooks fan. If you're an audiobooks fan, say, yeah. Don't be ashamed, audiobooks people. We're readers too. It's just different, all right? And he reads his own work, and he tells a lot of stories, and so it's really easy to listen to. But his whole premise is about, if we are to be loving the world, then we need to start seeing ourselves and others really seeing. And he goes on, if you'll hit that again, he goes on to talk about two types of people. He talks, this is just scratching the surface, okay, scratching. But he talks about two types of people, illuminators and detractors. And that's what I would ask us to think about as we inventory when it comes to thinking about love. You know, are we illuminators? Illuminators are the people that you are around that they lift you up. You feel it, you know it, you want to be near them. They lift you up. You can be an illuminator of self. Sometimes we are not, or I'll just speak for me. But sometimes I am not a real good illuminator of self. And he talks about how important it is to be an illuminator, someone that lifts you up, someone that's with you in that way. And then he talks about there are also the detractors, those folks that are not, and you know who they are. Sometimes I'm that for myself. You've been with them. They suck the life out of the room. All right? I'm not pointing any fingers here at anyone. I'm just joking. But he talks about, you know what I'm talking about. You know, as we inventory and think about how we're living and moving in the world, are we putting ourselves with the other illuminators so that we're encouraged and lifting? Are we talking to ourselves in illuminating ways that lift us up? Or are we being kind of detracting? Mills, you can't do that. You're not smart enough for that. You're not good enough for that. What are you thinking? That's a detractor. Are we like that with other people? And that's why this is so good to stop for 30 days and ask questions. Because we can get caught up in cycles, or well, Mills can get caught up in cycles, okay? And not realize what's happening unless I stop and intentionally really think about how I'm talking. Am I illuminating or am I detracting? And the other thing he talks about has to do with being seen and really seeing people. And you have to, and to leave this next slide up because she is inspirational to me. I will get through the rest of the sermon probably in an hour if she's up there, so maybe you should take it down. But I know Lizzo's got some personal issues right now, and I know there's some things that, but I'm okay with that, you know, because I think all the people we love and admire, we're all just human, right? Everybody say just human. Who in here has not made a mistake and done things they wish they hadn't done? But you don't have to say it out loud, but I'm just going to guess we've all been in that. I've probably done 3 or 4 this morning already that I wish I hadn't done, all right? So all that aside, I do have to share. I don't know that I've ever felt really seen. You know, it's growing up. I mean, there are probably certain, if I think back, but David talks about the transformational piece of love is that really seeing people, sitting with people and just being present and really seeing who they are. Not who you want them to be or how you'd like them to be, but really who they are. And I had the blessing, the privilege, the honor of going to the Lizzo concert when she was in Indy. Oh my goodness, talk about a concert. All right, it was an amazing concert in so many ways. And there were, I don't know how many Gainbridge holds. I mean, more than 1,000, okay? There's a lot of us there. And we were all singing her songs, dancing. Oh my gosh, she got some crazy dancing going. You know that's true. And we were into it, and we were all, oh my gosh. But in the middle, of this big concert, she walks out silently on the stage. The band goes silent. She just kind of stands there. And the crowd goes silent as well. I'm like, oh my gosh, how'd she get this crowd silent? I'm a pastor. I'd like to, well, I'm a fourth grade teacher. I know how to get a church silent. Just start preaching. Okay. But how does a fourth grade class, she walks out on stage and she's just standing there and she looks around and you can feel the hush come over the place. I mean, it's been loud and rowdy, people. I'm not playing. It's been loud and rowdy. We all been having certain enjoyments that you might have at concerts, okay? It's been loud and rowdy. But all of a sudden, it's no longer loud and rowdy. It's like I could feel, maybe I'm the only one experiencing this at this moment, at that concert. I was in a holy place. I was on sacred ground in the middle of Lizzo's concert. And she walked out on stage and she looked around and said, I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. She literally, now she didn't do it thousands of times, but I'm pretty sure she said it directly to me. Because that's how I felt. It felt like she held our attention for a long time. It probably wasn't. But in that moment, I knew it was sacred space, that she had really seen me, even though I was a 59-year-old white woman at this concert. Maybe that's why she saw me. But I had truly been seen. And I'm changed for it. I'm still talking about it. And yeah, she's going through her own stuff, but I'm not throwing her out. I'm going to keep loving her because that's what love does. Because she was important to me. In that moment, at that concert, I was seen. I was not seen as somebody that needed to change to fit into your world, but I was really seen. And that's what David talks about. David Brooks talks about, if we can find ways of being with people that allow them to feel really seen, and you know it. You've had experiences like that, I'm sure, and they are these sacred moments. You can probably count them just like this, where you felt truly seen and known. That, my friends, is love. And taking 30 days to be a part of that inventory allows us to really think, am I just showing up for people trying to rescue them? That probably isn't love. That not always a bad thing, but depending on the situation. But love asks us just to show up and really see people for who they are and let them know they can be that in that space with you. And that's what Lizzo did for me. And David Brooks talks about the power of that transformation. And I can only speak for myself, but I am forever changed because Lizzo saw me. Because of what I felt there. And I bet that you have those experiences too. So when we take this 30 days, we can ask ourselves, do I feel seen? Am I putting myself in places where I'm seen? Am I truly seeing others? And that's so important. And I think we do that simply by being present with people. And I'm going to scrap my ending because I'm watching our time. But, you guys were 5 minutes late to start, weren't you? Never mind, not scrapping the ending. I'm kidding. Good thing I teach fourth grade so I can edit as I go. But being seen, and he has one illustration that's just so powerful. I think sometimes we worry too much about what we must say to people if we're going to be in those situations with them, rather than just being present. There's something about Lizzo's silence in it and just being present with us that was powerful. And I think that's powerful. It's just being present with people and being present with ourselves. So key. Kind of have to be there first before you get to others. He has this illustration. It's a true story. It's a professor, I think she was a professor at Harvard. She was a young woman. I think she was in her 40s. I call that young now. It is young, way young. She was in her 40s, and she taught like anthropology or something like that. And one of the assignments at the start of the class was to bring in pictures of your family, and they talked about families. And she had done that. But in the course of that first semester, within the first couple of weeks, her husband, who had been a big part of her life and a big part of her pictures, was tragically killed in an accident. And that class, that whole semester, and for the second part of the semester as well, rode with her through that grief, so to speak. She wanted to keep teaching. She wanted to keep being a part of that, and she did. And they rode with her through that. And at some point, early on in that class, she had shared with them, and thinking about teaching the next year, how she was going to do that first assignment differently, because the thought of bringing pictures of her family and her now deceased husband, she could tell was just going to just rip her apart. So she had mentioned that to them and this and that. So they went through that whole year together, and she taught. And it was, again, it was now the next semester. That class has moved on. She's teaching a new class on anthropology. And she goes in there the second day, and it's the day they're supposed to bring pictures of their family. And she looks out on the crowd, and it's double the class is doubled in size. Nobody says a thing, but it's doubled in size. And you know who they are? It's her class from last year. They didn't say anything. They just came and sat with her because they knew it would be hard for her to get those pictures out. That's being seen. They had seen her. They had really seen her. And the message went out to that class, and they showed up there. Taking 30 days to ask ourselves, how are we doing in the love department of self, others, and the world, is critical to finding moments like that. Because if we don't stop and really ask ourselves, then we may just keep going on, fast, go, 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 go. Yeah, of course I'm loving. I'm a Unitarian. Oh, come on, I love everybody. If we don't stop, we'll miss those kinds of moments. And taking intentional time to ask how we're doing in the love department of love, of self, and others is key to who we are and how we are in the world. So I challenge us. I know the technical 30 days are over, but at any point, you can inventory your own heart and see, how am I doing with love and self and the world and others, so that we can be more intentional. I had a reading I was going to do, Fred Small. Maybe I'll send it to you and put it on your newsletter or something. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But he talks about, I don't know if any of you have ever felt like this. Well, Unitarians, what do you guys believe? Has anybody ever heard that? Well, you're Unitarian, you just believe everything. What good is that? You mean I can be a Buddhist and be a Unitarian? Yes. You mean I can be an atheist and be a Unitarian? Yes. Agnostic? Unitarian? Yes. Christian? Yes. Oh my gosh, you just take everybody? Yes. As long as you're a respecter of people, as long as you respect the dignity and value of every human, yes, you are a part of us. And the thing that Fred Small does, he goes, don't apologize. You tell them, we're Unitarians. We side with love, no matter where that side is. Maybe you're a kid on the playground and you side with the kid that's being bullied. Then, my friend, you are a good Unitarian because you are siding with love. When the civil rights greats of the Unitarian movement stepped up and literally gave their lives in that movement, they were siding with love. We have nothing to apologize for because we are courageous. I'm sorry, but I think it takes a lot of courage to side with love. It's not mamby-pamby, easy peasy. Siding with love takes courage. Unitarian Universalist, we side with love. Even if it takes us down some difficult roads, we are going to side with love. Side with love for ourselves, for others, and our beloved communities and the world. So I leave you with that thought. If you'll side with love with me, and we'll all keep siding with love, whether we're with Oak Landon or Heartland or wherever the world may find us, if we as Unitarians keep siding with love, according to David Brooks, I'm not saying he's God or anything, but I think there is power in that, we will really begin to see each other. And that is what will transform the world. That is what will heal myself, others, and the world. So join me. Join us all in siding with love, because that is what it's about and who we are about. Everybody say, side with love. Side with love. Okay, I will. Okay, thank you.